Yeah, Coach, what have you learned about this rivalry through the years? What makes it so special?
Well, I think, what happens, Todd, is that you look at actually, you look at three, let's say three schools that are all within 25 minutes of each other. And they've got great fans. They've had really good basketball players, great tradition. And by the way, they're all in the same conference. And when you look at, all three schools, and I say all three, us, Duke and Carolina, all three schools have multiple national champions. It's been very competitive. It's one of those things that all kids on each roster grow up knowing each other, especially those who are from the state of North Carolina. And so I think it's a natural rivalry when you have so many things that are so tied close together: conference, location, tradition.
Coach, to follow up, is this the one game that all Pac fans would prefer to win over any other game, do you think, in your mind?
You got to ask them that. You're going to have to do a survey online. I can't answer that for you. I want to win all my games. But I can't speak for the fans. I know they're excited about, they love playing against Carolina and Duke, and obviously we'll love when we win the game, but I can't say if this is the most game that they care. Like, if you're telling me right now I could just beat Carolina and lose every game, I'm gonna tell you that's not the case.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, Kevin, hope you're doing well. There's been talk about North Carolina playing differently under Hubert Davis. When you watch them play, do you see that? I mean, can you just kind of break down their team a little bit?
Well, I see some, every coach comes in with a different offensive philosophy. Everybody comes in with a little bit of defensive philosophy, but when you watch them, they have, they play like Carolina have played in the past. They're still a great offensive rebounding team. They still do a great job getting out in transition. So they still run a lot of the Carolina offense. They don't run everything, but I don't know that it's different. I think it's, more so you look at Carolina over my years here, I think this team is more suited as when they had Luke May at the 4 that can be able to step out and shoot the 3, because when you got Manick and who can also do that, opposed to that, I think it's a lot of similarities. At times they have, when you look at last year, they had Day'Ron Sharp and they had Armando Bacot. They were both inside guys. So I think, you see some Carolina teams that certainly were under Roy and this team too. It's just, I think when you come in as a new coach, everybody just says, man, they're running something different. I think they run some of the same stuff. They play a little bit of the same way. It's just he's got his own flair to it.
And just to follow up, what makes Bacot so difficult to deal with?
Man, he's tough. And what makes him difficult is on the nights that you get him to miss his shots, he gets his rebounds. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at it, I want you to think about this. Everybody says, well, you got to double him. You got to do anything. Well, he played against UVA, and they're arguably one of the best doubling teams in our league in the country as far as post guys. And he goes off for, I think, 29 points and 21 rebounds, something like that. He's difficult because certainly he's very efficient around the rim. But when he misses his shot, I would like to see the percentage of how many that he gets back and be able to score. And he puts a lot of pressure on your defense. You got to pay so much attention to him because his ability to score around the rim, he buries you deep. He's when he decides that he wants to play inside, he's one of the best, interior players in the country, and he's hard to guard.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Sia.
I got a question, not unrelated to Saturday, but just looking at the league as a whole. How would you kind of assess and the angle I'm examining is, this being a quote unquote down year in the ACC, and what I'm looking at is the talent level. How would you assess where the talent level is this year as opposed to your other years being in this league?
Well, CL, the good thing about it is I know you're getting a little older now because you're starting to put on those glasses, and you start to look like Tony Haynes a little bit, even though he doesn't wear glasses. So that's the first thing. That's where the talent is dropping a little bit now because your eyesight is not as good as it
Right.
usually be. You know, it's so frustrating to CL to every coach in this league, and it's almost insulting. I know you're not trying to insult anybody, but we always, you know, we get to this narrative that the ACC is down, and the reason why we get there is because if we don't have certain teams that's playing at a high level, and because we only have one team ranked in the top 25, it's always there. I don't think the talent level is down. What I mean by that is we've got great talent. We may not have as many pro prospects. And what I mean by that is a lot of times the NBA, they draft on potential opposed to who's really good. But we've got some older guys in the league that are really good players that deserve to be pro prospects that may not get the chance to play right away in the NBA or get drafted. They may end up on a roster. We took a big hit with transfers leaving out of this league, but we also gained a lot of really good transfers in the league. If you look at the top 10 scoring, I would guess probably there's 6 or 7 or 8 of them may be transfers. So I think the talent is just shifted where we don't have the young talent that we normally would have. You look at the league, Duke's playing 3 freshmen. We're playing a freshman. Notre Dame's playing a freshman, and Florida State's playing a freshman. Those are the teams that I think I named 4 teams that are starting freshmen. And typically you may have a few more of those guys. Florida State has a couple that come off the bench that are good players. But I think what happens is when we get older as a league, meaning older guys, like guys like Wendell Moore and Baycott, those guys are really good basketball players. Look at Williams, who transferred from Oklahoma State, who's a senior. He's a good basketball player. But I think when we don't have the young, what people consider the one and done, I think the perception as the league is down in that aspect of it.
And Carolina has played 20 games now, or what have you, nearing the end of this month. But Saturday is the day they chose to honor Roy Williams. Do you take that as a sign of respect for you coming in, or is that a sign of a little bit of elbow and a little nudging of a rival?
No, I think that may have been. I don't know what the reason, and that may be the only day that Coach Williams was available to have that. It may have been the only day that his family could be there, his wife could be there. So, hey, listen, I'm not going to read into that. I'm excited that they're honoring him. He's a Hall of Fame coach, has done a lot for basketball. He's done a lot for Carolina. And CL, look, I can't go down that road. I don't know. I just know that they're honoring, and I'm sure Roy and his family is exciting. But there could have been any reasoning why this was the date that they picked.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Hey, you look good in your glasses too.
Hey, appreciate it.
Go ahead, Michael.
Coach, go back to Baycott. How important is it to contain him? And what, I guess, how important is that? And what are some things you can do to contain him on Saturday?
Well, Michael, it's the top of our list. It's important. We can mix it up. We can try to, rake in on him. We can try to, deny him the basketball. We can try to front the post or 3/4 of the post. We can try to trap. But it hasn't been many people this year that have been very successful when you do all of those things. The teams that had success is where he just didn't have a good game personally. He didn't make shots. But he is tough because he knows that he's really good. He's a low down there. And I think you have to give him several different looks. I think if you come into the game and you just guard him one way, then it'll be tough on him. But, you have to have several different packages ready for him.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Michael.
Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, Kevin, I think Michael just stole my question on the key to the game, but switching to something else. I mean, are the guys really excited about the challenge of going into the Dean Dome? Because, I know that you got some local kids too that have been, that know all about this rivalry. So I'm trying to get the sense of what your kids are feeling as they head into the Dean Dome.
Yeah, I mean, they're excited. I think they're excited about playing Carolina. I think they're excited about playing, on the road at Notre Dame. I think they were excited to play Duke. These kids who are fighting for me, even though that we've been, hit with a bunch of injuries and our situation. Man, it's not one game that I didn't feel like that they were excited about playing and excited about the opportunity. We're fighting. We're going into a game where, we don't have as much depth as where their strength is. And we just got to figure it out. And, that's the excitement of getting the opportunity just to figure out how we can stop those guys. And I mean, what a talented group. And, Carolina is, a lot of people say, well, man, they've been up and down. But one thing is consistent. They've been really, really good at home.
And kind of on those lines too, Kevin, I mean, would a win against Carolina, as opposed to say anybody else in the league, would that give you guys a little extra boost heading into as the season rolls on a little bit, possibly?
I don't, we don't weigh one win over the other. And what I mean by that is absolutely, if we win on the road, which would be a great road win against us, and it is a team that's close by, yeah, I think our guys will be excited, but we're not gonna, it's no different than us winning somewhere else. We want to win. We want to feel good. We want to, anytime you can get a road win in this league, it's golden. And for us, I think our guys will be excited about the opportunity to play and win. And so that'll go a long ways for them.
Go ahead, James.
Kevin, I think you guys held Notre Dame, I think, a 38% shooting from the field. And for us, a lot of times we think that's a great metric for defense. I'm interested, is that something you value? And did you, watching the game back, did you feel like your defense played well in that game?
I thought we had moments, James. Percentage wasn't in this particular, in the Notre Dame game, the percentages wasn't what I was looking at. I wanted to make sure that we didn't. I really went into the game saying that we can't let them make 10 3-pointers, which is what they were averaging in league play. I want you to think about that. They averaged 10 made 3-pointers in league play. I thought that's where we lost the game. We gave up 11. And so they got 33 points from the 3-point line. And that's if you play against Notre Dame, everybody knows that they're as dangerous as they can be from the outside. And where they hurt us at is when they move Levinsky at the 5, and we struggled to guard him as he picked and popped and everything else. We did a good job when he played the 4. There was that stretch right after halftime. We went up 5 that they kind of caught us with E.B. Dewana, and we got stuck with it a little bit. And then we had to change the way we play to take away some of those threes. We went a little bit smaller, but then we gave up a couple offensive rebounds that led to outside shots, especially good one in the corner over there. And so, yes, I'm happy that our percentage was good, but what we didn't do is our scouting report, the number one thing on the scouting report is take away the 3-point shot. And sometimes that's easier said than done. And in this game, they made 11 of them.
And just to follow on your offense coming out of that game, watching it back, was there something maybe you saw that you didn't realize right after the game from how your offense played?
We just, James, we just didn't make shots. I thought we got some good looks. To Quavion and Jericho. I think Quavion was somewhere 1 for 8, 1 for 9, and Jericho 5 for 15. And when we win games, those guys have to shoot a pretty decent percentage. And I just thought we didn't make shots that we got some decent looks at. They just didn't go down.